When you are fulfilled within Jitan katahu kahu ripu nahi tage, such a person is left with no enemy to even fight with. You will have plenty of funds. There will be no sorrow, no suffering in life. Pain will be there. That's inevitable. We talked about the idea of peace. That how Krishna said, until you are calm, you can't be at peace. If you're not at peace, you can't be happy. And anytime when we experience the opposite in our lives, that doesn't mean things are bad. Sometimes that means nature is now preparing you for something great. Nature is training you. Nature is preparing you. Maybe it is planning to thrust you into greatness, or maybe mess, I don't know, but hopefully greatness. And the key to remember is you've got to be spending some time for yourself and some time for others. If it's all for others, it's a red flag. If it's all for you, you can't be happy. You can be well, you can be fit, you can be rich, but you can't be happy. I once read this very little quick anecdote once. This person was coming out of the shopping center with 2 bags full of groceries and so on. And he was driving a BMW 7 Series. And next to his car in the parking lot, he sees this homeless man standing. And instantly, he is now worried, the car owner. Why is this hobo standing so close to my car? Is this guy scratching it? What does he want? Now these druggies, these beggars, they're always good for nothing fellas, and how I'm going to deal with this guy. It happens. We are so quick to judge that it's actually mind-boggling. We think we know the other person just based on how they look or the way they look. I mean, looks is the first impression. I'm not saying you've got to really dress up, but actually, a little off track, I got reminded of this beautiful quote by Coco Chanel, the founder of Chanel fashion company or whatever it's called. She said, when a woman is shabbily dressed, everybody notices the dress. You don't remember the face of that woman. You only remember how she was dressed, if she's very shabbily dressed. But when a woman is well dressed, she said, it's her words, people notice the woman. And if she is shabbily dressed, they will notice her dress. So here was this homeless man, and now, but that I don't mean you go and buy 50,000 rupees lehengas and so on. It just means that you've got to like the way you feel about yourself. That's important. I think you could be shabbily dressed if you so wish. But as long as you are happy, I think... Anyway, for a woman, her own happiness is the most important thing anyway. So, so this man is looking at this car owner, the shopper is looking at this homeless person and is already thinking a million things. And with a frown, he approaches his car, he circumambulates the car, takes a parikrama to make sure everything is okay and there is no scratch, nobody's keyed my car or there's no dent, because he doesn't trust this homeless person. And then he opens the boot, he puts the his groceries in the trunk, closes it, and is constantly looking at that homeless person as he goes around. And the homeless man says, "You have a very nice car." And he says, "Thank you." And now his feelings of all the feelings he had, that negativity and that hatred, contempt, that disdain for the homeless person disappeared. Because here is somebody who's complimenting you, got a nice car. And he says to this homeless man, "Do you need any help with anything? By any chance? Because you're hanging around and so on. Do you need anything? Do you need any help?" And it's a true story, by the way. It didn't happen to me. One way or the other, I was neither of those guys. So but it actually happened in real. So they said, "Do you need anything?" And the homeless man said, Don't we all need some help? Couldn't we all do with some help in life?" And the man tried to give him some money, but he refused. He went away. He said, "I wasn't after your money or anything." So the thing that Bhagavan has said in Bhagavad Gita, or even for that matter in all the religions of the world, the one core message is you've got to take care of those around you. You can't just walk out on life. You can't just walk out on people. The only difference that I found in some religious books versus others, in some books of religion, they say only people who practice the same religion, you should show this kindness to them. That's just what the only thing that I found different. But pretty much, the common message is you've got to be kind to yourself and to others. Krishnantah shrirastham bhut gramam chetsa. Much later in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you are hurting yourself, you're hurting me. Because I live in every cell of your body. And until you figure out this truth, until something from within you makes you rise above it, until then, life is going to be a constant oscillation between I'm feeling great to this world is terrible. And then again, I'm so happy and everybody's crap. And this pendulum, it's just going to go like this, and you want to be centered, but forget it. This way and this way. I read this thing once, a sheikh came to India and he bought a building in Mumbai. And he wrote a check when the seller who said, look, this, how would you pay? He said, I don't need finance. Here's a check. Take it, cash it, take it, have fun. And he goes to the bank, but the check is returned with a note. Insufficient funds. And the sheikh said, that's preposterous. He says, sir, please read the full thing. The bank doesn't have the sufficient funds to cash this check. Your account does, but the branch doesn't have that much money to pay. So when you are fulfilled within Jitan katahu kahu ripu nahi thage, such a person is left with no enemy to even fight with. You will have plenty of funds. There will be no sorrow, no suffering in life. Pain will be there. That's inevitable. You can have a seedless melon because scientists have worked on it. But if you just want something natural, organic, your apple's going to have seeds in it. Your mango's going to have a seed in it. So you cannot expect life to go exactly the way you want. Because you haven't got a bloody clue how you want your life to be to begin with. It's only an illusion. You think this is how I'd like my life to be. But whenever life took that turn, whenever we were so sure that this is what I wanted, whenever life actually went in that direction, we figured this is not what we wanted. Or I would have been better off not wanting these things. So the best thing to do is be passionate about the journey. Be open to the idea of life itself. To have that courage to say and see, let me find out where my life takes me. Excessive planning or obsessive thinking is a disease. It's a mental disease. When you find yourself constantly thinking about something, tell yourself you're not that intelligent to figure out the answer anyway, so why bother? I'm just joking. So you remind yourself, you just give yourself an injection of, not what you think I might say, mindfulness, right? You inject yourself with mindfulness and then you say, what is the point of this reckless thinking? And it's important to stop the thinking function while it's still in the thinking mode. The moment it becomes an emotion, too late. Because you cannot think your way out of an emotion. You cannot reason your way out of any emotion. That's the thing to remember. If you want to give up, take in so much that you would say, I am now fed up of it. Don't give up because you crave it so desperately, but you think it's bad for you. Give up because you're fed up of it. You are fulfilled beyond what your mind can possibly want. If you like gulab jamuns, eat 50, 60, 80 or 100 of those. For months after that, the sight of gulab jamuns will make you sick. Try it. So that you can't stay away from gulab jamun saying, oh, these are sugar bombs, not good for my health. I'm going to stay away from these. Instead, one day, sit down and say, today, I'm going to eat all of the town's gulab jamuns, or as much as I possibly can. And take in as much as you can and beyond that, and make yourself sick with it. Obviously, medical intervention, this is not a medical advice. That disclaimer is necessary. I've seen all kinds of people around me. They'll say, he said it, it's on record, he said eat all of town's gulab jamun. And that's what I did. Look, I'm sick now. So you've got to fill yourself with the joy you crave so that you can rise above it. And that's exactly what Krishna meant when he said Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina. Rasvarjam rasopayasya. Get beyond the taste. Experience it as much as you like. You can't afford to put a cover on everything that your heart or mind craves. That fascination will only build up more. That fascination will only build up greater. Otherwise, it's that constant thing, this mother always, there was this vase. This vase her mother had given her, and she had brought it home, and this was her most prized possession. Anytime her husband walked even 2 meters in that radius, said, be careful, that vase is there, be careful. And her children should always say, don't go near it, my mother gave it to me, don't go near it, it's not for you to touch, it's not a plaything, okay, stay away. And one day, she came home, and her young son, barely 10 years old, said to her mother, Mom, are you really always worried about that vase that was breaking? Are you always really, anytime we go near, you start saying this. She said, yes, I really love it. I would like to protect it and keep it intact. I'm always worried about that this thing might break. Well, Mom, you no longer have to worry about it. It's done. So when you have this object you so like, but you want to stay away from it, your mind will constantly keep on going there.